If you clicked on my video, you're most likely procrastinating on your webtoon right now. Don't worry, I feel you. Webtoon making is arguably one of the most mentally and physically challenging work that an artist can do. If you're a Kanvas creator, you're most likely working on your own, meaning you're essentially the writer, storyboard artist, line artist, flat colorist, editor, and the list goes on. And if you want to take Webtoon seriously, it's a hustle. In order to update consistently, you need to be able to draw a lot of panels in a given time. In this video, I'll be sharing a few tips on how to speed up your drawing, especially comic making. I've been doing Webtoons since 2020 and gathered quite a lot of knowledge and skills on comic making through experience and watching a lot of other artists' videos and tutorials. So, because I've been getting a few requests to share more advice and tips, I made this video to help anyone who wants to start out on their webtoons, or just curious for extra tips. Using 3D models. I use a program called Clip Studio Paint, where it offers 3D models to assist us in poses. Not only that, you can even use 3D models as backgrounds in other miscellaneous items. There are a few websites I use to get my materials. This one's pretty popular and you've definitely heard of it before. They have quite a variety of 3D models and SketchUp files that you can buy. I also use Pixel Plus, which is one of the underrated websites. They also have a ton of assets which are free, which we love. And my favorite is the Clip Studio Asset Store. Creators can upload their own brushes and use other people's brushes, usually for a small price, but most of the time are free. You got a ton of options to choose from. I'll be using a teacup model as an example. It looks like I know what I'm doing, but I'm just playing around with the settings to make it look how I want it. I typically adjust the light source to get the right direction on the shadows. On the 3D model layer, right-click and choose Convert to Lines and Tones. I usually use this setting, and from here, I'll just edit the teacup to suit my webtoon. I'm going to use the teacup's original color as a base and work from there. This is also a 3D model that can be used as a background. So the process to extract the line art is the same as the one before. And this is the setting that I would use to extract the line art. So I then changed the vector line from monochrome to color, and then change the anti-alias setting so that it doesn't look too rough. Because initially this is for mangas, but we're making a webtoon here, so I don't want it to look a bit rough on the lines. And I just change everything to color so that I can add different colors to the model. Sometimes I use this method to put my backgrounds, but it takes too long and to me it's just inconvenient. So there are other ways I'll show you in the rest of the video. Pre-made assets and brushes. Call it cheating, I don't care, but you should definitely use custom brushes. There are tons on the Clip Studio Paint Asset Store. If you use Ibis Paint, they also have a lot of options too in the materials section. If you can't find the brush you're looking for, you can easily make your own brushes, especially if you use Clip Studio Paint. In fact, since Acon 3D is a bit pricey, I made my own brushes like these tree brush and mob brush. You can watch a separate video of other YouTubers explaining in more detail, but I'll give you a brief explanation on how I made my own brush. Drawing trees take time. Time is precious, so a quick shortcut is to make a custom brush for it. Just draw your tree however you want it. I'll be using my tree brush that I already made as an example, but I'll show you quickly how I made it from the beginning. If you want to, you can draw different trees so that you have more variety. Then on the image, go to Edit, Register Material, and Image. Name it something you can easily remember and tick Use for brush tip shape. Then tag it and save. I then duplicate a default tree brush to use its settings. In brush tip, delete all the image materials, then replace them with the trees that you've made. Then you've got your own tree brush. Reuse panels. Making a panel from scratch is time-consuming and a bit overwhelming sometimes. I'll reuse panels in case there is a difficult pose or an angle I'd like to use again and want to draw. Some people even make custom assets for face angles for each character so they can save time from drawing the faces again and making sure characters look consistent each time. You can screenshot your panel and trace the line art again, or simply copy and paste the panel entirely. Just make sure you still have variety in your characters' expressions so they don't look stiff and boring all the time. SketchUp backgrounds. I've gotten many questions regarding how to add backgrounds to my webtoon, but I have to be honest, I don't draw them. Drawing backgrounds would take too long, and you know how readers are, they want you to update consistently and a lot of times, you know? So instead, I use a program called SketchUp, where you could just have these pre-made models that you buy from Acon 3D or Pixel Plus, and just extract the scene that you want and put it into your webtoon. There are two methods on how I use SketchUp. First, in the SketchUp program, I make sure that the sky and ground is unticked so that the background is plain white. So later when we export it, it would be empty. After that, go to File, Export, then 2D Graphic. In Options, you can change how many pixels you want to save it in. I typically make it bigger than the screen size, so just increase it however much you want. And make sure you tick anti-alias and transparent background. Then I just add it into the program that I'm using and add the sky and the trees, whatever I want. There's a way to edit the colors of the model that you're using in the SketchUp program. For some reason with this model, it's quite hard to do so. I'm forced to edit it later in the Clip Studio program. Using a custom magic wand tool, you could easily make one by just duplicating the default one and unselecting apply to connected pixels only. And with that, you can select the color and edit it. And I usually change the color by pressing Ctrl U and changing the hue and saturation of the walls. The second method I use to get backgrounds is just by screenshotting the image immediately from SketchUp. So I just adjust the scene however I like it, and then I click the window. I use Windows. So I just click the Windows key, Shift and S at the same time, and then it will screenshot the area that you select. Paste it into your canvas. Simple. And voila, you just continue on with your storyboard and add characters and speech bubbles. It's pretty simple, but maybe you have other ways. You can comment down below. Help us webtoon artists out there with more knowledge. Sometimes You don't even have to put backgrounds in each panel. Just make sure you establish where the characters are in the beginning so that the readers will know where they are. Just please don't make your characters exist in an empty void, like a white background for the whole episode. That's just plain confusing storytelling wise. Making buffer episodes. Before I uploaded my webtoon, I made quite a few chapters of my comic, at least 3 to 4. I know the urge to post your work and to share it to the world immediately. That's exactly what I did with my first webtoon, and then it stressed me out a lot and got me burnt out really quickly because of that. I recommend making buffers a month ahead of your schedule. So say that you want to post your first 3 episodes and post every week after. That means you need to have at least 3 to 4 episodes ahead or 1 month buffer in case anything happens to you in the real world. You won't leave your readers hanging. Consistency is the key to make sure your readers remember about your webtoon. Lastly, know your limits. If you're a Kanvas creator, you're not obligated to post 50 to 60 panels a week, full colored and all. If doing that causes you to be creatively drained out, mentally exhausted, and physically hurt, then what's the point? You're going to have to stop drawing entirely just to recover from the pain you cause upon yourself. Your readers would understand if you can't upload every single week. Of course, there would be those idiots who feel entitled to your webtoon, leave annoying comments despite never doing anything useful to make your situation easier, like, I don't know, financially supporting you, or just inspiring comments. But luckily, that's just a small minority. Most webtoon readers understand how hard it is to create a webtoon, especially when those who upload on Kanvas usually do it as a hobby. Just remember not to overwhelm yourself and take the needed breaks you deserve. From experience, you create the best quality work that you are proud of when you are in a positive mindset towards yourself and your webtoon. By the way, don't forget to check out my webtoon, Moves of a May Lead. You can read it on Webtoon or Tapas, but I recommend Webtoon because I post 1 episode ahead there. And if you want to support me, you can tip me on Ko-fi, whatever. Or you can become my patron on my Patreon. I post 3 episodes ahead on there. So, thank you. Hopefully I don't upload another video like 4 months later. See you guys.